Moholy-Nagy's methodology and working method are more akin to how artists work today, that make sculpture, that make paintings, that make film, photography, that work in different media. Moholy's work is idea-driven. I see him very much as a proto-conceptual artist.
He always drew. He liked drawing as a kid. He mainly began drawing during World War I when he was an officer in the artillery in the Austro-Hungarian army. He wanted to become a writer first, and then he decided to become an artist. That's when he went to Berlin, which was the Big Apple, to become an artist, a professional artist.
The tenets of constructivist ideology are very much about the joining of, or you could say the elevation of applied art to high art, and the role of a fine artist being equal to, let's say, a machinist or an architect or a designer.
The early Bauhaus was expressionist and mystical. Gropius was the director, and Moholy became sort of his right-hand person. Gropius relied on my father to give the Bauhaus more direction in a more contemporary way.
Moholy started painting in 1919 on canvas and traditional materials. In the 1920s, he began experimenting and painting on various kinds of plastics, from Galolith to Trolit, which was an oil-based plastic from a company in Germany, to silverit and aluminum, as well as perspex and later on Formica. Photography wasn't really recognized as an art form at that time. For Moholy, it allowed him to really capture the world from different perspectives, to go up to the Berlin radio tower and look down on the landscape, to see this sort of bird's eye perspective, or an insect perspective looking up at a building. It showed speed, it showed technology. It was a direct reflection of the environment.
Moholy was very involved with the theater as a young man. He did theater designs for operas, and it started out as something to make light effects for theater, light prop for an electric stage.
This was the first motorized kinetic sculpture made between 1930 and 1933, and I would say is his sort of masterpiece. It was also used as a prop to make his film, ein Lichtspiel schwarz-weiß-grau, or a light play, black, white, gray. It was the invention of photography in the 1830s that changed painting as we know it, and it birthed modernism. Many of the great modernists that we still talk about today were traditional easel painters. They still very much function in this idea of an easel painting artist. And I think the constructivists broke out of that. One of the key aspects to understanding Moholy's paintings is the sense of transparency that he was trying to capture. So he's doing something that's not that different from what I think the Renaissance painters and the old masters were trying to do, which is capture light. And so that makes Moholy very fascinating and puts him, I think, outside of this phase or this stage of just pure rectilinear constructivist abstraction. his fascination with transparency and light.